Hello everyone and welcome to day 5 of Spring Fever, where I'm doing a new 5-minute review every weekday for the first 2 weeks of spring. I am having a lot of fun with this. I hope you guys are enjoying these reviews as well. So today I'm going to be talking about the new Too Faced Cocoa Contour contouring palette. This is the second contouring palette that Too Faced has come out with. I do own the first one, so I will be able to compare the two and see how they're similar, how they're different, and if you already have the first one, do you really need the second one? So let's get into the review. So this is the box it comes in, which is the same as the packaging of the palette. And on the back, it just has a breakdown of everything. And it also comes with this card that has sort of a look guide on it, which is always really nice to have. Too Faced always does a really good job of including these in there. The only difference packaging wise with this palette from the previous one is that the lettering here is in a bright pink, whereas I will show you the lettering and the old one is in a light pink. So right off the bat, that is the main difference. So if you have them both, you can distinguish them. It says this palette is a deeper version of their original Cocoa Contour palette. It's perfect for tan skin tones or for creating more depth in fair complexions. It does say it is a universal set. It does sound kind of contradictory to me because they're saying it's for medium to deep skin tones, but then it's also saying that it's universal. So I can only attest to how it works for me, but let's take a look at the colors. So this is what the palette looks like on the inside. You have your nice big mirror there, which is really great. It does come with this brush here, which is their Cocoa Buki brush, which is the exact same brush that came in the other palette. So it's just sort of your angled, fluffy kabuki brush, and it is pretty soft. I didn't actually use it. I didn't even think about it for when I used the palette today, but I do feel like this is a really nice brush. I've used it in the past. It's nice and soft, and it's really good for blending out contour. So for your colors in this palette, you have the Cocoa Butter shade, which is a yellow tinted matte highlighting shade. If you know me, you know that I got pretty excited about this one because yellow setting powders are my favorite thing to put under my eyes and also other areas that I set my highlighting concealer. So this shade was right up my alley. I really like it. The original one did not have a yellow powder in it, so I was very excited to see this one. And I did use it today to set my under eye concealer as well as the concealer kind of on the high points of my face. So like my forehead, my chin, my jawline, and then a little bit on my nose. And I thought that this powder worked beautifully for that. It was nice and thin, and I feel like it has a small amount of coverage, but it's not at all cakey. It doesn't look powdery on the skin. I think it looked really great, so I was really pleased with that powder. The next shade on here is the Medium Mocha shade, and that is a cooler toned matte contouring shade. Now, I have to say that this is a little bit too cool toned, I think, for my skin tone. I did use it to contour, and I like to use the lighter contouring shades to kind of carve out my contour before I go in with a deeper shade, but I just felt like this one was a little bit too cool on my skin. My skin is fairly warm, so personally, I don't know how much use I will get out of this, but if you have cooler skin tones, you might be getting a lot of use out of this one. The next shade is the Deep Mocha shade, and that is, again, a very cool toned contouring powder, but a lot darker. So I use this one to really go in on top of the lighter contour and really carve out the cheekbone, and I think it looks all right. Like I said, it's a little bit too cool for my skin tone. So but as far as like the consistency and the powder quality, it's really, really great, on par, absolutely blendable. These powders blend like a dream. Really high quality in that respect. Then the last shade we have is Cocoa Glow, and this is your highlighter shade. This is your shimmery highlighter shade. So rather than a setting powder, this one is for really the high points of the face. For me, I only use it on the cheekbones, and it really will attract the light and create that highlighting effect. Now, as you can see in the swatches, this one is packed with a lot of gold glitter. It's almost like a rose gold glitter, and it's really pretty, but similar to the highlighter in the original contour palette, it makes it a little bit difficult to work with. There's no way I would ever use this powder anywhere other than my cheekbones. Like, I would not put it on my forehead or my chin or any other high points of my face to like as a highlight, because it's just because of that glitter. It is so intense that it really attracts the eye, and really almost, it's just so easy to overdo it. Like, you have to be super careful with it. So that's not my favorite highlighter of all time. It is really pretty. I know a lot of people have really strong feelings about pieces of glitter in their highlighter, so if you don't like that, you probably won't like this highlighter because it does have that, unfortunately. But it is on a really pretty shimmery base. The base is kind of a soft highlighter, so you can really build it up, which is nice. You can get a soft wash of color, or you can get more intense of a highlight. Because of the glitter, it's going to really attract the eye no matter how light of a hand you use. So I just wanted to hold up the two. Now this is the new one that I was talking about, and then this is the original contour palette. So hold it there. So you can just kind of compare the colors and see the differences. The original does have that warm bronzy shade, whereas this one, both of the contour shades are cool toned. And yeah, you can just kind of get a feel for it. I think it's really kind of interesting how they have the warm contour shade in this one, but then the warm setting powder in this one. I don't know. It's just interesting to me. Then I also wanted to compare, this is the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil Bronzer. This is like one of their classic matte bronzers that smells like chocolate, and I wanted to compare that one to this if you are familiar with this one, which I think a lot of people are, just so you can kind of see the bronzer shades are very cool toned in comparison to the chocolate bronzer. So that's just something to note. So overall, I think this is a really nice palette. The quality of the powders in here are absolutely fantastic. As with any contouring palette, you run the risk of getting one or two powders in there that you might not get use out of. So I suggest you go to the store and swatch them and just kind of make sure that you're going to get use out of all four powders in here. Otherwise, it might not be worth it for you. It does smell like chocolate. I forgot to mention that before. It has the same scent as the Chocolate Bar palettes and the Chocolate Soleil bronzers, which is really nice. I really like that one. If you saw my review yesterday, you know that I'm not a huge fan of the new peach scent, but I do really like this scent, so that's good. Also, you do only get 4 shades. In most other contour palettes that I have, you get at least 5 or 6 contour shades. Like in the Tarte one, you get 6 shades. In the Anastasia Beverly Hills one, you have 6 shades. Lorac has 6. Kat Von D has 6. This one only has 4, so that's a little bit different. But you do get the brush included with it, which, you know, hopefully is an added bonus if you think that you'll get use out of it. So that's something to keep in mind. Also, the packaging is a little bit bulky, just that thick box, which is really pretty, but it's a little bit more difficult to store. Just it's not your typical shape of like an eyeshadow palette or a contour palette. It's a little bit thicker, so that's another thing to keep in mind. But other than that, I like the product overall. I think the quality is really great. It's just a matter of, are those shades ones you're going to use? I know for sure the yellow setting powder I'm going to use. The highlighter I'll probably get a good amount of use of, and then the contour powders I'm just gonna have to play around. I might end up using them as eyeshadows or mixing them with other contour powders to really get them to work best for me, but that is all a personal preference type of thing. Alright guys, that is it for this review. If you haven't seen my other videos in the Spring Fever playlist, I will link the playlist below so you can catch up on all of those. I've done Milani reviews, some new Wet n Wild stuff. I reviewed the new Too Faced Peach palette yesterday, so make sure you check that out. And I also have the new Too Faced bronzers, blush, and mascara to review. It's going to take me a couple days just because I want to play around with those enough times, try them together and separate and stuff like that. So that'll probably be next week, Tuesday or Wednesday, but make sure you tune in on Monday because I will be doing a lip swatch video. So that is all I have for you guys for today. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys, and I will talk to you again very soon. Bye!